Hey, and welcome to episode 8 of the Paid Insights podcast, where we analyze and deconstruct other companies' ad campaigns so you can learn what to do and what not to do for your business. Hey, and welcome back to the Paid Insights podcast. Today we're actually going to announce our winner of the book giveaway. You ready? So, a member of actually another podcast called the Wine Guys, brand new podcast they just launched. But one of those guys won a copy. So, congratulations to him, and keep an eye out for future giveaways we do here on the podcast. And another fun little thing is I got a shock mount and a boom arm for the microphone, so hopefully that'll make things a little easier to record, sound a little better, and been playing around with GarageBand a bit, so hopefully it just keeps getting better. But let's get into it. Today we are going to talk about, what's the keyword? Oh, boxing franchise. That's right. So when someone types franchise, they're typically looking for to purchase a franchise. Because if you're looking to go, to a boxing gym, you wouldn't use that word. So just something to keep in mind. And we have 4 ads that appeared at the top. And the first of all, there's 110 searches per month, and the average cost per click is $2.20. So the first ad is 9 Round Fitness, and when you search for boxing franchise, the first thing I see here is their brand name, which it's not my favorite because it doesn't say right away that, it says fitness franchise, but it just doesn't say boxing franchise, up front and center, even though it's kind of implied by the 9 Round brand name and everything. Even their URL says fitness franchises. And let's see, it says among fast growing in franchise 500, own a franchise for under 85,000. So they have some call-out extensions. It says low overhead, easy startup, ongoing training and support, which is pretty standard for franchises. And then they have some site links that say steps to owning, take our fitness tour, meet the 9 Round team, and request more info. So there's a phone number as well. It's not a terrible ad. I'd like to see the headline be a little better, at least aligned with the search, and they can sell themselves a little later on in the process, I believe. And so moving on, next we have Title Franchise, and they do a little better job with the headline. It says open a boxing franchise, start your own title boxing club. So I think that's a great kind of title and call to action all in one. And looks like they're using extended text ads because there's 2 headlines. And then it says for the URL, it says titlefranchise.com/gym franchises. It says get the franchise facts today. It seems a little weak for a description. They should be selling why to get a boxing franchise, a little bit more call to action or something there. It's just kind of vague, if you ask me. And let's see, the call out extensions say become franchise owner, get a free consultation, award-winning franchise, which it's not bad. I'm sure they could do a better job with some of those. And it's kind of funny because right below it, there are site link extensions. And the first one says become a franchise owner. So you basically see those 2 things kind of stacked on top of each other, become a franchise owner, and then right below it, become a franchise owner. But you can actually click on that one. Other site links are contact Title Boxing, the Title Boxing team, and get the franchise facts. So that kind of aligns with that short description they have, but again, it's just vague. I want what are facts? What does that mean? And why does that help me want to own a franchise? Next is pretty pretty exciting headline. It literally says franchising, one word. And it's from the domain expressfranchising.com. It says, "Are you ready to own a franchise? Call Express Pros now and learn more." So that's a pretty poor ad. I'm pretty sure they're like a broker or lead reseller. I haven't even looked at these yet. So, yeah, that's the way not to do things is just to type one word and keep it as vague as possible. But I'm sure they get some clicks if they're targeting the right searches. Next is Boxing Franchises by franchisingclick.com. That's CLIQUE. And they actually target this keyword pretty well. It says boxing franchises, and their display URL says boxing. It says, and the description says, buy a high profit boxing franchise and be your own boss. So I'm pretty sure this is another broker lead reseller, and they do a decent job. I mean, considering they're probably targeting hundreds of different industries, so they have stuff in every little area, but seems to be gets straight to the point. So we are going to jump over to the landing pages for these 4 ads and see what those look like. I also want to let you know that you can find show notes and screenshots for this episode at paidinsights.com/8. That's the number 8. And if you listen to previous episodes, I'm dropping the episode and then number. We're just going to stick with a number after the URL. It's going to make things much easier for everyone going forward. So again, it's paidinsights.com/8. All right, so the first landing page is 9-round, and it says 30-minute kickbox fitness. And it's actually a pretty nicely designed page. It says, first thing you see is among the fastest growing fitness franchises, and that aligns with the ad, their description, so that's always good to see. And it looks like they have a full navigation along the top to check out the rest of the site. That's tends to be a negative because you want people to really stay focused on the page. So I would probably recommend that they remove the navigation, or at least, they have a sub nav. So as you scroll down, it's basically like a one-page navigation. So it anchors down to different sections, which is really nice. As you keep scrolling, that becomes the new static navigation. And it says request information. It says franchise overview, financing, franchise news, and blogs. So it's kind of cool to see that they have specific news and blog just for their franchise sales side. They also have a pretty simple form. It says take the next steps now. Asks for first and last name, email, phone, and zip code, which is good. It doesn't feel overwhelming. I know that if you're selling something with a pretty high investment, you need to get someone on the phone and talk to them several times. So, I mean, I know all the information is important, and it seems like, they get what they need, but not more than they need. I would like them to better explain what next steps mean. So it says, please complete the form or call. And then, the form fields, and then it says, yes, I want more information. But I want to know what information I'm going to get, at least for this very first step. Is it going to be a guide or an infographic, or are you just going to call me? I kind of want to know that up front before I give you all my information. But someone looking to buy a franchise, sometimes they don't have all that resistance. So it's just something to test. And then it says own a 9-round franchise and gives a kind of brief description, not too much copy, which is good to see. A little bit about their goal of owning having people own a business. Talk about being a proven business model, network of dedicated support, hundreds of other franchisees. It's actually pretty good. And then as we continue down, there is a video from the director of franchise development. And as we keep going down, it says, what is 9-round? So it's a little bit about the concept, but it's structured in a way that's more towards someone looking to buy the business. So it says 1,000 to 1,500 square foot fitness club, alternative to regular gym, no expensive machines to maintain, average investment cost, and that 85,000 that they mentioned in the ad falls right in the middle of their average total investment. So it's kind of good to see that they talk about what it is, but then they tailor it a little bit more towards the audience they're reaching. And as you continue, it says our proven business model and how they're a good mix of the right industry, the right concept, and the right business model. Talk a little bit about fitness being a $30 billion industry, that anyone can operate a club with just 2 to 4 employees, no kickboxing experience needed. So some of that stuff is kind of important to highlight, so people don't think, oh, I'm not a boxer, this isn't for me. So good info here. And then high energy, fun, exciting environment. Talk a little bit about how it's a place that people want to go and keep coming back to. No low pressure for the members. All good stuff to see them highlight. And then the next section says one of the fastest growing fitness franchises. Again, aligns with the ad and the headline at the top. And then there's a timeline right here that says from 2017 back to 2012, there's kind of Entrepreneur Magazine ranked top, Inc. 5000 ranking, kind of just a bunch of different awards along this timeline. So that's good to see. Shows some social proof. And then there's a little kind of a cool 3D model of a typical 1,200 foot club. Shows what it looks like. Pretty basic shape, so it shows it's easy to find a space and get going. And it says we're in your corner every step of the way. In-house franchise coach, choose your location, pre-opening training, marketing support. So they're highlighting some of the stuff they do for you. And then it also says better health for members, better brand for you. So talks about a little bit about what they offer, their technology, their training programs, their nutrition programs. So kind of cool to see them continue to sell themselves in different aspects of the business, both for the consumer and for the B2B side, for the person buying the franchise. Kind of alternate as you go down. And then it says affordable investment. Let's compare, and they compare themselves to Orange Theory and Planet Fitness, which are probably common other fitness franchises that people looking to buy are considering. So they compare the investment cost, which 9-round is considerably lower because there's just less equipment, less space. So they give a little bit about what you need to qualify, your net worth, liquid assets, and credit score. So it helps to kind of pre-qualify people so they don't reach out if they don't meet some of those minimum requirements. And then as you continue, there's three or more testimonials from other owners and their convention, and you can scroll and actually see more owner testimonials, which is awesome. And then there's some franchise facts. So this was not the ad that said learn our franchise facts, but these are actually good. It talks about how they have a low startup investment, overhead is low, you get access to their support team, you don't have to be a salesperson. So a couple little things to highlight how it's easy to run, easy to own, and why you should be a part of their system. And then they break down the initial cost. So this is a pretty long page, but there's a lot of info when you're considering spending 100,000 or so to buy a business. So initial cost. So there's a initial franchise fee, some technology, equipment, and they break it all down and kind of give you a low and high cost on what you'll need. So that is really good to see. So people know what they're getting into before they even, get in touch. Continuing, there is some financing options. There's some other kind of registries and sites that they're listed on. And then there's some frequently asked questions. And they talk about discounts for multiple purchases, multiple locations. Let's see, kind of reiterating some of the terms and some of the kind of best practices. And they have a fixed royalty, so it's $449 in the United States. I'm assuming that's monthly, but that's different sort of way to approach it. And then there's franchise news and franchise blog, which are both current, which is great to see that they highlight, some of their news here. And then even one of the latest news items is fastest growing franchises, which again aligns with the ad. And there's a form at the bottom. So I love to see that. You get all the way down and you want to tell people what to do next. So it says, take the next steps now. Kind of similar to the form up at the top. Again, asking for the same 5 fields, but I would like to see just a little more description on what happens next and what information you're getting. But overall, I think these guys do an awesome job, and I have some clients in the franchise industry. That's why I chose this keyword and topic. So I am going to use this page to recommend some improvements for one of my clients for sure. Let's move on to title boxing. So let's see. Pretty sparse landing page. No navigation. You can click the logo to get back to titlefranchise.com, their main site. Their headline says Title Boxing Club Franchise Facts. So another one telling you to get facts, and then get the facts with our infographic. Download our franchising facts to learn more. So they kind of keep repeating themselves. They're not saying anything different. And again, like the ad, it was vague then, it's kind of vague now. They do have some bullet points to show a little bit of the info you're going to get, but it says 3 proven revenue sources, major brand partners like Nike, Gatorade, best in franchise development leadership team, national and local media, and fun facts. So they're actually telling us to download an infographic to learn about this stuff, which is fine. But these bullet points are small and kind of hard to read, and this doesn't really tell you. It says learn some facts, but it doesn't really tell you what they're going to show you. And the form asks for similar information as the last one: first and last name, email, phone number, and then they also ask for city, state, and country, which it's kind of information that they need, but I don't think I like the zip code route. It allows you to obtain the city and state automatically without asking for that information. So it keeps the amount of form fields smaller, which tends to increase conversion rates. And there's kind of a negative here. It looks like 5 different images that are broken, so they are not loading at the bottom, which just makes it look kind of less trustworthy and like they don't care in a way. So, yeah, they could definitely do a better job here, but not awful. I just the headline being repeated 3 times that says "Get the franchise facts" is probably the biggest negative here. And then the form saying download the infographic, but the form should really be self-contained and tell you a little bit about what's going to happen without reading the part on the left. And the button says "Get the facts." Oh, there's that word again. Let's move on to expressfranchising.com. Remember, that's the ad that just said franchising. Let's see. This is interesting. It says 2017 means business. Own one. Average 5.6 million in annual sales. Be your own boss for a change. Become an Express franchise owner. Watch our video. So the video looks like it pulls up a YouTube video. It says Express is the number 1 staffing franchise. So now we know that this is not relevant to boxing in any way. It says join over 35 years of success with an award-winning staffing franchise who is committed to employing excellence. So it's a staffing employment franchise business. The landing page isn't awful. I mean, it seems decently designed. Tells you some benefits, why them, but it doesn't align with the keyword or the ad, so it fails. We won't continue. Next is franchiseclick.com, and they're a broker or lead reseller, like I mentioned. So they drop you into basically a health and fitness franchises category page, and it actually goes all the way down to martial arts and boxing franchises category page. So they do a decent job, and they get you to the right place. And I actually see 9 round is the second option. So what you can do is go down and click little check boxes to choose the franchises you're interested in or learn more about that specific one. And then as you scroll, there's a form that stays on the right side of the screen, which is very overwhelming. It looks like 10 plus different fields, which there's a good chance that they need some of this info to help kind of get you to the right business. So you're likely to meet the requirements and, able to buy. But in their case, I would probably try to do a multi-step form, or like I mentioned before, if you just ask for zip code, you don't need to ask for city and state and country. So that's one suggestion. They also ask for, these are not required, but capital, so how much money you're looking to spend, time frame, your occupation. It's just a small kind of condensed field, so they're just a little, it feels more overwhelming the way it's displayed too. So overall, I think for what they're trying to do, you get to the right place and you can get in touch, but they could do much better job with the form, and just their overall design seems kind of dated, I guess I would say. But I know that Franchise Click is a big company, and I'd be interested to see how their these PPC ads are doing. But I think that's all 4 of the landing pages. So we're going to wrap this episode up, and I will see you in the next episode. One last thing, if you are enjoying these podcast episodes, I would greatly appreciate it if you would leave a rating and review on iTunes. And I created a link to easily get over to the iTunes page. It's paidinsights.com/iTunes. Simple as that. Hop over there, click 5 stars, 1 star, whatever you want, leave a review, and we'll see you soon. Later.